I've spent many years making safe choices, and the safe choices slowly turned me into someone I didn't even recognize. Playing it safe looks different to each person, but for me, it looked a very specific way. Playing it safe looked like staying in roles that were deeply unfulfilling, that sucked the life out of me because I wanted stability. I wanted a paycheck. I was attached to this perceived notion of security. And these jobs looked great on paper. They were jobs that I know other people would have been grateful for, jobs that paid well, but I would dread going into them on a Monday morning. Playing it safe has also looked like me suppressing my self expression, not being fully self expressed, not fully sharing myself with others. And it was really because I was concerned about being too much, about being too vulnerable, about giving someone the power to hurt me. And ultimately, that cost me connection at that time, connection that I was really craving. And the third way that playing it safe has shown up for me is in seeing opportunities and being so excited for them, but then talking myself out of them before I even tried. Because I was concerned, what if I failed? What if people saw me try and fall short? And thinking about all of these safe choices now, I recognize that in the moment, I thought that I was acting from a place of responsibility and being realistic and being smart. But I know now that I was so disconnected from myself. And with every safe choice I made, with every choice I made from my conditioning instead of my truth, I was just disappearing. So things started to shift for me the moment that I realized I was making these choices from a place of fear instead of a place of wisdom. And this is something that's been really impactful for me in my self development journey, being able to understand whether my internal voice is coming from a place of wisdom versus fear. Because there is a really distinct difference. Wisdom is more clear and grounding, like a clear grounding statement, like, this isn't right for me. Whereas fear is more anxious, and it could be an anxious statement or an anxious question, like, what if this goes wrong? What if I make a mistake? What if I fail? And understanding the difference between the two will help you get a gauge on the energy behind your choice. Is this a choice that's coming from empowerment or coming from fear? So I learned that I was letting fear drive, and fear keeps you small. So I started to make different choices. And I'll be honest that these choices weren't grand, life changing choices, at least not to start. They started off being small, and they were small but uncomfortable. They stretched me a bit. I left a job. I left multiple jobs. I said the thing that I'd been holding back. I started projects that I wasn't sure would take off. I wasn't sure if they'd work, but I did it anyways. I asked for what I wanted, even though I felt terrified doing it. And none of that felt freeing at first. It felt terrifying. It felt irresponsible. It felt like I was doing something wrong. And I think another thing that really shifted my relationship with making scary choices is not focusing on being fearless, but focusing on being courageous. Again, there's a difference between the two. Being fearless implies that you don't even have a fear. You don't have fears. Being courageous is about acting in spite of the fear. So I know that I'm always going to feel fear. There are going to be choices that I make, things that I want to do that are going to be really scary. And I don't strive to not have fears at all. I strive to be the person who can take the leap despite the fear that I'm feeling, and trust that on the other side is not a slab of concrete. It's a feather bed. So in the middle of this journey of making new choices and just not operating from a place of fear, but operating from a place of truth and my wisdom, what also shifted for me was what freedom really means. My definition of freedom really started to change. And I used to think that freedom was about the external stuff, time freedom, location freedom, um, what's the other one? Financial freedom. And don't get me wrong, those things do matter, but I'm not going to pretend that they don't matter. They do. But what I've learned is that you can have all of those things and still feel like a prisoner in your own life. You can work for yourself, you can live anywhere in the world, you can answer to no one, but you can still feel completely trapped. You can be trapped by who you think you're supposed to be, by the version of yourself that you're performing to satisfy and appease others, by a life that looks right on the outside, but feels completely misaligned and wrong on the inside. And the freedom I was actually looking for was something different. It wasn't just about finances, time, and location. It was just the freedom to be who I actually am, to live my life in a way that actually matters to me. It's not about what my parents want, what my peers want, what my siblings want. It's not about this timeline and this vision that I inherited without ever even agreeing to. It's about what I want and what speaks to my soul. And that kind of freedom doesn't come from a number in a bank account or a passport stamp. It comes from inside. And the only way to connect to that is to stop making choices rooted in fear and to start making them from a place of truth. So, on the other side of playing it safe is your freedom. And that's what I want to leave you with. In making new choices, I felt more connected to myself because I'm not operating from fear anymore. And I hope to leave you with not a list of things to do, but the message that the version of you that's been playing it safe is not who you are. And the life that feels true to you, it's not going to be perfect. It may not be all figured out. It's just true to you, is worth the discomfort of choosing differently. So that's what freedom means to me now. And I would say it's been worth every uncomfortable step to get here. And I know there's still a lot more to go. I still have a ways to go, but if I can do it, you certainly can as well. So that's all for today. Thanks for listening. I'll see you in the next video.